To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not just their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art. Welcome to the Chiss Ascendancy podcast.
Alright, let's jump into this,
I feel like this intro is like almost more appropriate than ever.
right? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to...
The Chiss Ascendancy.
This is our Mandalorian review episode for Chapter 16,
Indeed it is.
The Rescue. Alright, well, first you want to do your little quote there that you enjoyed?
Oh, I was going to save it for like a good time.
Okay. So our first sequence, of course, on the review episodes are our overall thoughts. What do I even freaking say? My overall thoughts, my mind was blown, my childhood dreams fulfilled. I could die happy. You know, all those things. Amazing episode. Amazing... just amazing. I don't even know what to say. Very fulfilling, very fit into the season, and such a good into the season that I have like a million questions about where the show even goes from here.
Right.
Because it feels so much like the end of the book. No pun intended. So good. I really loved it. I loved the action. I loved getting to Gideon's ship. I loved being on Gideon's ship. I loved everything. The whole thing was good. What did you think? Take a drink. Sorry, I didn't know you were doing that.
I didn't know you were going to stop soon.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I loved it. Just I got to be there for my first watch through because I was catching up on some sleep from throughout the week and slept late into the day. So I woke up, first thing I did was start watching Mando. By that time, Josiah just showed up at the house.
With food.
With food, so bless him. It was...
I thought you were dead. I thought you had watched the show earlier and died because I couldn't get a hold of you.
Yeah, I was MIA, but it was... Wow.
When they first... I guess the opening of the show is they're right on the tail of Dr. Pershing, the clone manager. And we've been saying since we first saw him from last season that he had the little emblem that the little clone troopers on Camino had. And so we were, the internet always finds out little things like that.
We suspected for quite a while.
But
to get it,
from the mouth of the...
explicitly.
Imperials, he's a New Republic guy, and if you kill him, basically, he's a huge target for them.
Yeah, not a New Republic guy, but somebody that the New Republic really wants.
Right. Well, yeah, because the pilot from the Lambda shuttle said, if you kill him, the New Republic will be upset with you.
Yeah, they want his info.
And were you kind of taken aback that the New Republic knows about Dr. Pershing, or cared?
I think it just has something to do with them having some sort of list of Imperial remnant. You know what I mean?
That's true. They definitely don't know what's going on.
Right.
As far as
I think about
cloning.
Heir to the Empire specifically, where when they find out who Thrawn is,
you're
like, that's not possible. All the Grand Admirals are dead. You know what I mean? It's just they have like a list.
Right.
And maybe they're just going through the list. They know he has to be under some sort of protection. Maybe they're aware that Moff Gideon's still running about. So... I mean, they've got a pretty vast intelligence network. I mean, even the Imperial Remnant, who's not empowered by a long shot, they still have their
pretty good little
fingers in everybody's pie. So I assume the New Republic is pretty well informed as well.
Dude, as soon as the scene opens up, basically, and the Lambda's trying to run from Slave One, I was like, I've played Battlefront. You're not getting away. When you're in old Battlefront 2, and I don't know about you guys, but whenever I've ever played, we're kind of in the same boat. You're a little bit better gaming pilot than myself, but I'm not a very good gaming pilot. I would much rather fly the Lambda across to the Mon Calamari cruiser and go in there and shoot people with my regular gun.
The thing about the Lambda is that as soon as you get out of the pilot seat, one of the AI is going to get into the pilot seat and immediately crash it into the wall of the hangar, so you're stranded, effectively.
Yeah, you need to make sure you get in the pilot seat and you are in the pilot seat until you land safely.
I like to bring a handful of people with me, but one of them usually ruins the plan very quickly.
Well, it's crazy because they're so they're so slow, and they're not. I mean, they're made to be slow. They're made to be, they're just carriers. And so when they were like, "Oh, never gonna catch me," greased up deaf guy, and Slave One was like, it was cool to hear Slave One's guns again.
Lasers.
And also, how cool is it that he has an ion cannon in
cool.
Slave One, which is like big. That's a big deal because at least from the original trilogy, when the freaking rebels had one, they were like, "Ooh, we got an ion cannon," and it was a big deal.
Big.
Yeah, big. So that was really cool to see Boba do that. I did not care, however, for freaking Bo-Katan or her wrestling counterpart. Both of them are dweebs, and Boba Fett is a Mandalorian. He has a chain code. What do you want from him? It's interesting that it's so crazy. Like, when you have a friend that isn't making good choices, and you can see it clear as the nose on their face, but they don't see it. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me that when Bo-Katan is talking to Din Djarin, it's you can take your helmet off.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all the freaking random. Like, there's more ways than one to be a Mandalorian, and you're a product of a cult, and just all this random stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then for her, to give any crap to the clone troopers is shameful. Because last time I checked, if it wasn't for clones, Mandalore never would have gotten under Maul's finger. So, first of all, screw off with all that bull crap. Whenever, like, the way she just said clone troopers with, like, a little sassafras in her voice, I didn't like that at all.
Wait, you're saying if it wasn't for the clone troopers, Clone would not have gotten Mandalore under his thumb?
Bo-Katan would not have gotten Mandalore back.
Got you. Yeah.
Had the clone troopers not helped.
Sorry. The way I heard it, you were like, if it wasn't for the clone troopers, Maul never would have won.
Oh, no. What I was saying was...
Okay.
They even though it was short-lived, because the Empire came right back, basically, it feels like, but the fact that Mandalore was at all released from the Death Watches and Maul's group is not because of the Loyalists. It's because of the clone troopers and Ahsoka. So when she heard Boba's voice, if that's what the trigger was, she should have thanked him and got down on her hands and knees and kissed his beautiful little hands. But that was bullcrap. And then the whole fight scene with whatever her name is. I just wish Boba would have killed her on the spot.
The Quacta?
Yeah. I guess this is a good time for you to go into that.
Yeah, no, one of my favorite things about the episode was when... I thought it was cool they used more Star Wars-y slang.
Yeah.
This episode was heavy on the Star Wars slang. So when
Very heavy on the Star Wars slang, actually.
He said, that wasn't the Quacta calling the Starfling slimy.
That was cool. I did like Boba Fett having a little bit of swagger.
Oh yeah, his trash talk game was on point.
Yeah.
You could tell he's a professional bounty hunter. He talks the talk.
Yeah. Well, the other
Just
thing
as well
is...
as he walks the walk.
He, like... I don't know. You could tell that he was not trying to... He wasn't trying to get into a fight.
Mm-hmm.
But when the fight was brought to him, I still feel like he didn't give it 100% because he could have easily just taken out his gun and shot her in the unhelmeted head.
Well, I have trouble believing that from full extension she's going to have stronger arm strength than Boba. Tamora Morrison is yoked.
Yeah, he is yoked. And he's freaking... Jango Fett is the clone template for a freaking reason.
Right.
And it's way easier for you to pull back your arm than to pull forward your arm. You know what I mean? Mm. If you were like this and you had a rope coiled around your wrist, it's way harder to pull that than to have the wrist attached to your freaking form and go, or the cord attached to your form and go, yoink.
Yeah.
So that was dumb. I know that they have to do things like that to make the episode interesting. I would be so annoying on set. I'd be like, that's not realistic at all, guys. Boba Fett is probably, 70 pounds heavier than her? Come on, guys. Pound for pound. That's not what we're doing here. Like, it's just so silly. But, whatever. But yeah, Bo-Katan was kind of like a douche the whole episode.
I think she was just a little touchy because we were getting like on sensitive ground for her, but at the same time, I think part of it is that like that actress had to deliver really heavy lines. You know what I mean? Like those things would have been really meaningful to Bo-Katan. And I feel like maybe the actress as an individual didn't really grasp the significance of those things, and she was, you know what I mean?
Well,
like
she's been the voice of Bo-Katan since the Clone Wars. She's had a little time to get into her.
I don't know. It just seemed to me like, I don't know, the first time Luke said power converters. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, I was just, I was very off-put that you would think, and she ended up saying this, if we would fight with this much spine against the Imperials, we never would have lost our planet.
yeah.
But I still, as soon as, I don't know, for being so self-righteous about how connected all the Mandalorians should be, she was so divisive multiple times, both to Din and to Boba, both of which I liked way better than her. I don't know. I feel like there's a way to make a character cool without making them like a douchebag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can, I don't know. I feel like they could have conveyed how important Mandalore was to her without her kind of looking down her nose at everybody else. She's not exactly the best ruler. She's lost Mandalore twice. And according to Boba, it's like a crap heap now. So, but it was cool. Standout moments for you? There's like 12.
They're too many.
There's 46 minutes of standout moments.
Yeah, it was, the whole episode was phenomenal. I really don't I'm still reeling from having watched it.
Okay, I'll give you ones that come to my mind, and then if there's one that I bring up that stands out to you or reminds you, just jump in.
Have you ever looked at how refined the mustache is on Moff Gideon's pop?
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
It is nice. He's refined. His acting in this episode, he was a highlight for me. Moff Gideon is always a great character. I love that actor, Giancarlo Esposito. Whenever he... I love it when someone's... Obviously, I'm from Texas, and I don't... Not that I have a heavy Texan accent, but I don't have... like when I say R, it's like R. So it was cool when he was talking about Bo-Katan being on the bridge and having killed everyone. He was like, it's because they probably killed people because of the savages that they are. Like the way his enunciation is very, very precise, and I like it. Cool moments anytime Slave 1 is on screen. Very, very cool. Seeing I believe it's called a gauntlet, a Mandalorian gauntlet. I know this is a gauntlet, but that's the name of the ship as well.
Yeah, I knew exactly where things were headed when they touched down on that planet that looked at basically like any part of West Texas.
Yeah.
We've been out there.
Oh, they're in Pasadena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just it's flat. They got some bushes and there's a bunch of chemical refineries.
Yeah.
Welcome to West Texas.
I could just see Deer Park and all that smoke.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that ship, I knew where things were going.
Yeah, I was interested in
That's
seeing...
one of my favorite ships.
The Gauntlet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're freaking sick.
very, very cool. And I was actually starting to wonder, is that what Din is going to fly after this?
Maybe they own one.
And also, it does mean that perhaps the Mandalorian was available at the Battle of Exegol because everybody was looking for the Razor Crest. But he could have been in a different ship.
Perhaps.
You know?
Yeah.
But very cool stuff. They meet up with Bo-Katan and obviously Kara's there. Oh, one thing that was cool is when she shot that guy that was behind Dr. Pershing, and the heat from the laser blast burned the edge of his ear. That was freaking sick.
That was cool.
So they probably have... Dude, think about that. If you're Din Djarin, you just made dollar bills because he brought Gideon and Pershing back alive. And he's on even ground with them after episode 2 of this season.
Gideon's still alive.
Gideon's still alive.
I remember he tried to shoot himself. I was trying to remember what happened.
Yeah, Cara Dune did her thing.
It was cool to watch him be so elated that the Dark Troopers were about to come through, and then see how he was basically falling apart when he realized that plan wasn't working.
I wonder if he knows who Luke Skywalker is. He has to.
Yeah, for sure he has to.
But I mean I guess what I mean is when we saw Luke start doing stuff, we were like, ooh.
I assume that if he sees a single X-Wing pull into the thing and everybody on the ship panics, I think he knows what's about to happen.
Yeah. So that was really cool. Getting to the ship was neat. It was cool watching, oh my God, what's her name? The girl that's with Boba Fett right now. Finnick. It was cool watching her and Cara work with the two Mandalorian women. That was cool. I do like that you can tell that Finnick and Cara like kind of working together more than they like working with the Mandalorian girls. And but Finnick, dude, I don't know if you guys know this, but the actress that plays it's okay. Actress that plays her is 57 years old. 57
years old.
Yeah.
She is so spry.
She is so spry. Dude, she did a full-on
like a roundhouse,
yeah, like a reverse, yeah. Jesus, what am I trying to say? Anyways, she did a sick kick, and then I don't know why I like this one so much. It was when you were watching, I was like, watch this. But I liked whatever she kind of, I don't know, it was almost like a disc golf move. She did like a little forehand through that tunnel to shoot that guy. It was just cool, the angle that when she shot through those crates, that was really neat. Just everything was really cool. And then the Dark Troopers were really, really cool. I thought that maybe they were going to break Din's helmet when he was freaking hitting him, just bashing his skull into that wall.
I think they did it just to showcase how strong the metal is.
It was a cool way to showcase the strength of the Dark Trooper, but the durability of the Beskar at the same time.
Yeah.
And that spear came in handy.
The spear did come in handy. Just as we suspected. I mean, it was pretty obvious that the Beskar spear was going to have to be the weapon against the Darksaber.
Right.
There were two things that seemed, I guess, too obvious to be correct. Mm-hmm. One of them being that Mando somehow becomes Mandalore. Din Djarin. Now he's not, but he could effectively lay claim to Mandalore.
Yeah.
And then the other would be Luke showing up.
Yeah.
It's just like it seemed too much to be real.
Yeah, that was one of the standout moments. Watching the Dark Troopers was cool. And then, like you said, watching Moff Gideon talk to the Mandalorian was really cool. Anytime that Moff Gideon was talking, I was just excited to be there. Mm-hmm. He's just so good. Just a good actor. And he's very level-headed. And
I don't think so. I think he's a man of high highs and low lows.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's a man of extremes. I don't think he's as even keel as everybody wants to believe. I think he controls it well, but I think he's a man of passion.
Well, yeah, but I think I think that he, even when he was beaten, he was still like calm and cool and collected to be like, no. She's got to take that saber from you in combat.
Well, he was only cool because he believed that he still had a handle on things.
Yeah. But I mean, it's easy to say that he panicked, but at the same time, like the craziest variable of all variables entered the fray.
Well, that's my point, is that he only seems calm because he feels that he's in control. You know what I mean? He said, it's safe to assume that I know everything.
Yeah.
So that's a person, he's a very controlling, very dominant personality. And as soon as anything is outside of his control, that's when he fell apart.
Big deal. Yeah, that's a good point. Dude, I did love that he just went to just try to waste Bo-Katan when the moment came up.
Dude.
I was kind of sad that she got up, honestly.
I was like, so she did?
Sick of her. Yeah. Okay, so standout moment.
Elitist pricks.
The standout moment, obviously, to end all standout moments, was when you see the back of that hood going down the hallway.
Dude, I was panicking. I thought they were gonna make me watch the whole thing on a little security vid, and I was like, "Don't you make me watch this on a tiny screen inside my bigger screen?
Yeah.
Let me see it."
Yeah. Dude, it was sick. And it was a good call. I heard this earlier today, but it was a really great way to showcase his power without him having to kill organic beings. Like, you know how Luke's kind of he's
soft.
He's the greatest Jedi because he's fixing the flaws of what it means to be a Jedi from the Old Republic.
Yeah, and I don't mean soft in like weenie. He's got a tender heart.
Yeah, and he doesn't. I think that in the Battlefront 2 campaign, there's moments where he talks about not wanting to have to kill folks to help peace occur, but he does what he has to do. And so it was cool. You have these crazy, huge, strong. It was cool that we got to find out they were Phase 3 Dark Troopers.
That was cool.
Which I've been on the Phase 3 Dark Trooper train for years.
Well, yeah, and I mean, for anybody who's in the know, we were in the know. You know what I mean? Like, it was obvious. There was no way there was a person in there. They're tubed up. You don't see anybody enter the suit, exit the suit.
Yeah.
Even beyond that, just the shape of it and the places where it's narrow, too small for a person.
Right. What's so crazy is when you look at the Legends content of a Dark Trooper, you have 3 phases, okay?
Right.
You have the first phase, which was a droid. And it actually looks much more like what we have now. And then you have a Phase 2 Dark Trooper, which is the one you've probably seen the most, where it's kind of like, looks like just a guy in a big silver armor. And then the Phase 3 is the one that's really huge.
Yeah, I think they're a bit shorter than what we would have expected from a Phase 3.
Yeah, what their trooper that they made looks like a mixture of a Phase 1 and a Phase 3, where it's as broad, but it's kind of lanky as well, and like you said, you can see like basically the waist, stuff like that. Kind of, it's very battle droidy to be like, well, why do I need a whole shell when I could just have the spine?
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Iron Man 2. You know what I mean? Just like the robots versus the people in the suits.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. So obviously
more Jon Favreau content.
Yeah, it's just all Jon Favreau. Okay, so new characters.
So we've got Luke. It's the big one. Honestly, he did what I was afraid he would do, and he showed up, and I forgot about everything else. I stopped caring about anything else at the time. I was like, no, I don't care. Like, even this sweet, precious angel, I was like, can we just put him aside for a second? Just like, I don't know, 3 more platoons of Dark Troopers, bring him out. I want more.
Dude, they did a really great job of whoever was in the hood, actor-wise, and when he walks into that room, the hood's still really low, and I was like, oh my God.
I thought maybe they weren't going to show his face.
Oh my God. And
I
knew... I learned my lesson in Rogue One when they were like, screw the reflection, show his face!
Yeah, I knew who it was when we saw one X-Wing show up. And everything looked like maybe it was lost. I was like, there's no way, even with 4 Mandos in a room, that they take all those Dark Troopers. There's just no way.
Yeah.
But when Cara Dune says, 1 X-Wing, we're saved. And I was like, oh, you are saved. You are saved and then some.
Yeah, you said, there's no way.
I just saw 1 X-Wing. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
No
as
way.
As soon as I saw the 1 X-Wing, I was like, hoo, 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 hoo.
It just seemed too good to be true, man.
Takes his hood off. Oh, my God. And the fact that they got Mark Hamill to come back and do the actual...
Do the voice.
And...
I assume they had the same guy that kind of did the mocap for Rise of Skywalker.
Maybe. We'll find out. That guy tends to post if he was also the Knight of Ren Aplek that has the Mandalorian blade.
Yeah, but we already knew we were going to get Luke there. I think this would have been a much more guarded secret.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying eventually he'll say something if that was him.
If I were him, I would expect that it would be a day or two just so he's not spoileries.
Okay, so new characters. Obviously, Luke is the big reveal.
We got to see the Dark Troopers for real.
Yep.
We got like a 30-second intro. I don't really count that.
Right. But
we also had my 600-pound life Bib Fortuna going for the world record of fingernails.
Yes. So, oh my God, those were freaking disgusting. So at the very end...
What's the name of that Twi'lek ambassador? You know what I'm talking about? He has the French accent.
Yeah. Real heavyset guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
That's what I thought of. It got really hard vibes.
So the crazy thing is, after the credits of this episode, you just get like a landscape.
There's a nice Napoleon Dynamite Kip Sweating type environment.
Yeah. And you get the twin suns.
Always and forever.
And then you pan over and you're looking at Jabba's palace. The cool thing about seeing Jabba's palace was they did a great job of showcasing the staircase on the side.
Yes.
That actually showed... I've never really known how big Jabba's palace is, but it's pretty big.
I feel like we should have gotten a pretty good interpretation of how big it was from Jedi. Like, I remember you being like, look how big it is. And I was like, just like I remember.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's because when you see it in Jedi, there's never a moment that you see the Falcon next to it, or you never see anything.
I think what really sold it for me is seeing R2 and C-3PO walk up to the door, which is such a small portion of the face of Jabba's palace and how big it was in comparison to them. Like,
Right.
that was scale for me.
Yeah, the way that it worked in my mind is all I know is that they have a giant door that takes you to a giant tunnel that takes you to a small staircase, a small flight of stairs down into a great room, and then there's a giant sewer underneath with a Rancor on the side.
Yeah. All I like thinking about is like a hut lives here. It's got to be huge.
That's true.
It's the opposite of a hut.
That's true. That's true.
He doesn't live in a hut. He is a hut.
So you get there, and it's funny. It looks like Bib Fortuna has been eating all of the Gamorreans' foods.
Prodigal son gone wrong. He doesn't feed the pigs anymore.
Dude, all of the Gamorreans are like in shape, and Bib Fortuna's like, give me another piece of pizza.
More McRib.
Oh, the McRib is back.
More McRib. I need McRib.
I want the McRib.
Don't want the McRib. I want the Wonga.
The Wonga. So basically, he's in there and he's looking fat as freak. That freaking double chin dog, it is something else. Mitch, it makes me feel bad for Beezer Fortuna, his brother or cousin, whichever one it is, that works with Saw Gerrera. Have you seen? If you look in the background of Rogue One, Bib Fortuna is. I didn't
realize they were related.
I can't remember. I can't remember if it's brother or cousin, but you can tell that he's been living on ramen noodles. He is like, he's like super thin. Even his tail is like as thick as his pencil. He's worse for wear. And
all I can say is that at the events of Return of the Jedi, Bib,
yeah,
he fell into a small Fortuna.
Dude, that's the stupidest joke I've ever heard of my life. What's crazy is in Legends, do you know what happened?
No.
In Legends, those monks.
Oh, yeah, they take back over the town. That's what we had talked about.
They take over the temple, and they actually put Bib Fortuna's brain into one of those spider things.
Oh?
Yeah. So you can tell that it kind of looks like he's just, I don't know if he just has a small stash of cash to pay like 5 people to live there, but it's very empty compared to when Jabba was living there.
Well, and I think Bib Fortuna has a much smaller mind for ambition than Jabba
That's
would
true.
have. You know what I mean? He's content to have this little palace, whereas Jabba wanted the galaxy.
Yeah. So Fennec Shand comes in and just kills literally everyone.
I thought it was cool that Boba was so removed, like everything was so beneath him that he didn't even take the time to clear the palace himself.
Mm-hmm. So Fennec goes in there, blows everyone away. Luke, LOL. Boba Fett walks in, and Bib Fortuna is like, "Oh, Boba, back from the dead. I'd heard rumors, blah, blah, blah." And like halfway through his sentence, Boba Fett just murks him on the
It's nice to see
throne.
Bib still as slimy as his head tails.
Mm-hmm. And so Boba walks up there and just throws his dead body off of the throne and sits down. And
I was hoping we'd get a little Rancor action, I'll be honest.
Well, the Rancor's dead, though.
There's always a bigger Rancor.
Yeah. I bet you Bib Fortuna's not really into that sort of thing.
I would be. He's sitting on a throne with Rancor heads. You gotta complete the thing.
You gotta live up to to the hype. But Boba Fett sits down, and somehow that blue spatchka makes its way onto the screen again. Fennec starts drinking, and you can tell she's kind of like his right hand. And
strong right wing.
Yeah.
Mangies.
It goes to frickin' credits, and we get a book of Boba Fett coming December 2021.
Do we think it's a real book? Like a reading book?
No, it's a show.
Okay.
For sure. I assume.
It's a show, probably.
More than likely.
It reminds me of Parks and Rec. Andy is working as a security guard at Town Hall.
Mm-hmm.
There's this little kid, and they lose their mom. And he's helping them find the mom, and he opens the supply closet, and it's just a supply closet, like there's rooms and stuff in there, and he's like, all right, she's not in there, I bet.
Dude, so, I don't know, crazy stuff. So Boba Fett has kept his end of the bargain, so him and Mando can part ways.
Yeah.
I don't see him going against Mando unless there's a reason to go head-to-head.
No,
because he respects him a lot for getting the armor back.
I think that, and also seeing how little Boba cares about Mandalore specifically in that showdown, he kind of confirmed my suspicions that he doesn't hold any ambitions for that particular part of his life. You know what I mean? He's much more... His first move was to go back to Tatooine. So that kind of shows where his head's at.
Yeah. So...
Oh, they're not facing off anymore?
Nope, they're going separate ways. Okay, so rate the episode 1 to 10.
10. Underlined it 3 times.
10. You sure did. That's funny. Yeah, this is the peak so far of Star Wars under Disney. Would you agree?
Yeah. I got to finally see more of the Luke that I always wanted.
Yes.
What's crazy is, like...
This will begin to make things right.
I'm still Kylo, man.
Yeah, I love
Still
Kylo.
want more!
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I got to see him take on a whole platoon of unbeatable Dark Troopers. He did it by himself, and he still didn't even break a sweat, and I was like, I want to see him sweat. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want more.
It took me back to... what's that comic book? Dark Empire, from way back in the day. Star Wars comics from like way back in, 20-something years ago. And Luke decides he has to go dark to defeat the clone of Palpatine.
Right.
You know the whole story. And there's a moment where the Imperials, they don't realize what's going on. It's similar to what's going on right now in real Star Wars, where there's a remnant that probably doesn't have any clue what's going on with Exegol and whatnot. And Luke has his lightsaber, but he's got this black outfit on, and he kind of looks like Vader a little bit. And an AT-AT walks upon him and is like, all right, take him out. And Luke reaches out his hand, and the whole AT-AT just collapses on itself.
It was very Force Unleashed.
Yeah. So whenever he holds that Dark Trooper, and it's like, oh, it's trying so hard to shoot him, and it's like, just shooting next to him, and he just gives it the old crunchy crunch.
Yeah, I was there for that. I was there for that all the way.
That's so
Jingle
sick.
All the way. That was
So,
neat.
yeah, it's a 10. It's whatever the highest number we can give it is. It's a 20. So what the freak is next season Mandalorian?
Dude, that's the freaking question. That's the question. Mm-hmm. Everybody was suspecting that Boba might be the villain, but it's looking...
I think Bo-Katan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bo-Katan's now got beef with Mando because he took the saber and she wouldn't just take it from him. He doesn't care about it. But I think now that he's lost Grogu, not lost him, but he doesn't have to take care of him. It's basically like, I don't know. It's like taking if the mom and the daughter just died. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he's got nothing left to lose. So he's just unchained. Din Djarin Unchained. Djarin Unchained.
Yeah, so she terribly wants the Darksaber still.
She wants it bad.
And she will create a villain of herself to get it because Din doesn't care. But if she literally won't take it,
that's where I was going, is that, like, it's almost like when you, you're like, why are you in a bad mood? And I'm like, I'm not in a bad mood. You're like, yeah, you are, you're mad. And I was like, well, now I'm mad.
Right,
like I don't want to be Mandalore. Well, I do. You know?
Yeah.
She's going to,
here's the saber. Yeah. And he's like, no, I got to take it from you, He has the spear and the saber, Bo-Katan.
Dude,
you
I thought
are
it was
double
so funny
screwed.
when some, when Moff Gideon was like, she has to take it from me. He's like, I yield.
Yeah. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's already got what he wants.
Literally could not care less. Here's the other thing, though, is that Bo-Katan wouldn't have thought him worthy of being Mandalore because he was
a foundling.
Well, not
and a
that,
child of the Watch.
More specifically, a child of the Watch. But she saw him take his helmet off, which shows her that he has different moral compass than maybe she suspected he did.
Right.
Maybe
and
that softened her
also,
towards him a little bit.
I would like to note that at this time, Din Djarin is the leader of the Mandalorians, a foundling. And in his book, ladies and gents, Boba Fett is Mandalorian. So it doesn't matter what the princess says.
I did think it was funny that Boba Fett took on a little bit of Han Solo there. Whenever Bo-Katan would get snippy, he'd be like, all right, princess.
Mm-hmm. Easy little one.
Easy little one.
He's a bad man.
Yeah, it's a bad mama jamma.
So if Mandalorian Season 3 is December of next year, and Book of Boba Fett is December of next year...
I don't even know, man.
Sweet heavens.
Thrawn has to be the ultimate villain. Has to be.
Well, here's the thing, is that Gideon, unless something crazy happens in the very beginning of next season, Thrawn shows up to save Gideon or whatever.
I don't think Thrawn gives two poops about Gideon.
Yeah.
I don't think the ship's lost, the Dark Troopers are lost. Those don't strike me as things that Thrawn would be particularly interested in anyway.
Well, my question is, yeah, Gideon's
Who carries on the cloning project, though?
Gideon's not dead, but he is out of reach of the Remnant now. He'll go to the core worlds and probably go to prison, be tried for his war crimes, and Dr. Pershing. And
He'll be talking to cockroaches before we're through.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Dude, Din Djarin just became the ruler of all Mandalore and super rich overnight.
Yeah, he just got super powerful.
Super powerful, super rich. He has the spear, he has the Darksaber, he has Dr. Pershing and Moff Gideon alive, which is, according to Cara Dune, double prizes, as Sid from Toy Story would say. So he's rolling in the dough. He might just get a new Razor Crest.
Yeah, and...
If you had a really cool ship and it got destroyed and you just came into a butt ton of money, would you get a better ship or would you kind of go back to your old ways?
Better ship, for sure. I'd be making the carrion spike 10 out of 10.
So, man, that's just crazy. Okay, so, there is...
It seems like Din Djarin maybe fell into a small fortuna.
They call me Bib Djarin.
Brown eyes, Skywalker.
Dude, that's crazy. Dude, I would go find Mayfeld and be like, hey, you want to be my right-hand man? He needs some company now after Grogu's gone.
I don't know. In Din Djarin's place, I would be taking a couple long naps.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's hankering for some alone time.
Yeah, he probably is, but just because of his whole life experience and everything, he's just going to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. He's not going to slow down.
He'll be okay to travel alone, I agree.
Yeah, I honestly don't think he's going to get very much rest.
But what can that mean for the future if...
you know what I bet? I bet he tries to catch up with the Armorer.
Maybe.
Although he's kind of kicked himself out.
Yeah, he's left the Creed. He's no longer a child of the Watch, at least. I don't know. It's weird. I had heard somebody say that they think maybe the Armorer might end up being a villain of some sort in the future because she'll be upset with Din for leaving the ways.
But he's got the Darksaber now. And even the Watch respect the Darksaber.
Yeah, that's very true. Dang, that's very true.
Even,
he may be the one...
Even the Vizslas respect the Darksaber, bro.
Okay. Was my breathing that...
Yeah, that was...
Sorry.
It was the air.
I just heard like, oh, in my ears. But, dude, the next... I never ever would have thought watching him capture Mithril from the very beginning episode of last season when I was like, okay, cool, small potatoes kind of guy. But it's it's average guy. And literally not that long later, a year later, we're like, so only thing that he could do next is probably unite the clans and take over all of Mandalore.
Unite the clans.
Yeah, dude, he really could. And man.
I thought it was cool when Boba said they turned the planet to glass. That was a cool expression.
Yeah. Well, that's what Gideon pretty much alluded to, is that it was just gunships on gunships on gunships, all with E-webs on like every door, just murking folks.
Well, in Mayfeld's passing comment about basically Mandalore being as gone as...
Alderaan. Sorry. But yeah, just craziness. So, the sky's the limit. I know that we've been just putting out content for, here's what I think is going to happen, but it's such a blank canvas right now. It's really hard to say, but I can see him going to Mandalore and making things right and fixing everything.
Is that for the first time since like Chapter 3? Chapter 8's like for real. But Chapter 3, we have a Mando without a quest. Mm-hmm. He's finished. You know what I mean? He finished the quest. So
yeah, it makes me think that, how...
every man for himself at this point.
It is kind of silly how we've talked about how it feels like a video game, but how when you finish a quest when you're playing a video game, you go back to your, not boss like villain boss, but you go back to your, leader, and then you go figure out the next thing you got to do or whatever, So, does he try to catch up with the Armorer? And she tells him, somehow maybe she knows that he's removed his helmet or something. And he can be like, well, turn on that freaking Darksaber.
Yeah.
I'm the boss now, bro.
It would be interesting if we had like another Mandalorian Civil War. that now he's the leader of Death Watch. And freaking Bo-Katan wants it.
Well, it's weird because he doesn't really... His actions don't really identify with either... Yeah. His actions don't really identify with either side.
Right.
His actions don't identify with the watch because he's done all those things, taking his helmet off and whatnot.
Here's the thing, though, is I think the saber means a lot more than the helmet at this point.
You think so?
Yeah. Because Vissel would take his helmet off, but everybody bowed to him because he had the saber. That's how Maul got in powers. He had the saber.
That's true. Yeah, because Bo-Katan said an outsider would never rule Mandalore, and Maul was like, suck on these horns.
Pretty much.
Nothing? I thought that was funny. Oh my god. Well, do you want to add anything else? We could just speculate on a blank canvas for hours.
I would just like to say this. It didn't play like I thought it was going to.
Oh man.
I don't know, man.
I do love that they knew we would want more Boba, so they were like, "How will we give you?"
Want this, don't you?
Don't you?
I knew it was in here somewhere.
So Bo-Katan's the bad guy for season 3, probably.
Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Thrawn is a more imposing villain.
Well, he's definitely a more imposing villain. Yeah. I guess my thing is, it makes sense that Bo-Katan is a villain of sorts because she stands directly in the way, not because he's trying to do anything, but because he's kind of in her way in a sense.
Yeah, if I were him, I would just kind of regroup. You know what I mean?
Also,
I don't think he's going to get that chance, though.
What's with the I can't accept that I have to fight for it if she literally just handed it over, Sabine handed it over to her in Rebels? You know what it was? Gideon said something that kind of, the second time watching it, a light came on, because I was yelling at the TV this morning, she did it before! She did it before! But second time watching it, when I was able to take more in, he said, she can't accept that she has to defeat you in battle, otherwise she's a false ruler. And so maybe, earlier in the show she said if we had this much spine against the Imperials, we never would have lost our planet. Maybe some of the reason that Mandalore was so easily conquered by the Imperials was because there was a good chunk of them that didn't respect Bo-Katan because she didn't win the Darksaber back from Maul.
It's possible. How did Sabine get the Darksaber?
Ezra and Kanan stole it when they were on Dathomir.
So
from Maul's hideout.
Nobody got it then, really. Nobody beat anybody in combat. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, honestly, if we're going by Harry Potter rules, Maul still owns the Elder Wand.
Yeah, but he's dead.
So then nobody gets it.
As I was going to say, it has no power. But Gideon defeated the Mandalorians.
Actually, by Harry Potter logic, Obi-Wan gets it, who's also dead. Which means Darth Vader gets it, who's also dead, which means it belongs to Luke.
That's right. Oh my god. Which actually means...
Nope, it's Luke's. Darksaber's Luke's. Luke's in charge of Mandalore.
Yeah, but...
Give him some armor, come on. You know the rules.
Vader technically died from residual effects of the electricity, so actually, Palpatine's stub finger clone on Exegol gets the Darksaber. In a way. But yeah, I mean, technically, if Sabine had it and she was fighting with it and Gideon took it from her, he knows the rules, so he had to have won it from her, and Din Djarin took it from him by force. And the Mandalorians are going to know when to call bullcrap if they stage a fight, Oh, I lose. That's not going to hold up in court.
I yield.
Yeah, I yield. That really made me laugh. Oh man, what a cool episode. That was.
I'm excited.
That was crazy.
Something amazing, I guess.
Yeah, that's what that kid on that trikey all those
That's
years
what he's
ago was waiting for.
Bro. That bubblegum's all the way in his hair, dog.
Hey, don't worry how long ago that was. 20 years or whatever.
15 years too late.
Yeah. Don't worry, buddy. 2020, you'll get what you're waiting on. And if ever there was a time that we got what those Jawas were looking for, it's now.
Yes.
So let it be known, on December the 18th, 2020, we got it.
I just wanted to see if I get a reaction, but I didn't.
This one doing something for you?
This one? No, he wants it. He wants the...
Heck yeah. What a good... Dude, think about it. Season 2. Sorry, I started to go back into it. But Tuskens, Krayt Dragons, Cobb Vanth, Ahsoka Tano, Sabine, not Sabine, but Bo-Katan.
We're going to talk about it all in
Oh
our
my God.
Season 2 wrap-up, which will come out Monday.
Yes. I'm holding back.
Holding back.
Very cool. All right, so once again.
Oh, okay, once more. From the top.
From the top. See you guys next time.